Hi everyone and welcome to the Scrapbooking Photographer. Linda's my name and today I'm working on a layout to go with the Paper Crafting YouTubers channel, and this month our topic is school's out. So I had a little trouble thinking of something to work with today because school isn't out here. I'm in New Zealand, so we're just heading into the cold part of winter, and our poor children are all in school in their woolly jerseys and jumpers. However, inspiration struck when I had a look through my photos, and also when Close to My Heart released this latest stamp called The Future is Bright, and it is all about graduating, so there was no way I could miss this video. The papers that I'm going to use today are also currently with Close to My Heart and current, and that is the Hello Darlin range. So I have chosen this one piece of paper which is predominantly blue and striped on the back. I think I might use some stripes, but I'm definitely going to use this along with some sapphire. If you've watched my videos in the past, you'll know that dogs often appear in my videos, and today is no exception because I am celebrating this gorgeous animal, Ranger. He is an assistance dog with Assistance Dogs New Zealand, and I was lucky enough to be their photographer for a few years, and Ranger graduated while I was working for them. Now this photo I have printed out at home on my printer, which is why the colours aren't quite as sharp as I'd like them. But for the purposes of today, it will be fine. And then I'll get one printed at the shop and put it into the album. I firstly printed a big one, but I think that's too big. So I think I'm going to use this size. So first up, I'm going to trim that to size and get rid of this wasted white stuff. And then we'll see how the page comes together. So the first thing I'm going to do with this piece of paper is take the zip strip off. The red stars I don't think will work, although there is red in his scarf. When the puppies are born at Assistance Dogs, they go out to a puppy handler for about 18 months before they go into their formal training for their job. And that usually takes 6 months to a year, depending on what they're being trained specifically for. And then they graduate to be partnered with their person for life. Okay, so we've got him mounted there. Now I'm only going to use some of this paper. I want to have a piece down the side and hopefully use the other side of this up the other way. If you can hear the snoring in the background, I'm sorry, but that's my 9-year-old retriever. She's having a wee doze while I do the video. So about 4 inches we're trimming. Alright, so I'm just going to bring in a little bit of the colours from his scarf. And the reason he's wearing a scarf is because when he was in his formal training in Auckland, he was boarded at one of our high schools up there. And he used to spend the evenings with the boarding students. So as you can imagine, he was a bit of a hit. Now, because it's such a academic type picture today, I'm going to use this text stamp from the Dream Maker set, which has come out for National Scrapbook Day from Close to My Heart. And I'm just going to come up here with it in a dark blue. So I need to make sure I've got it the right way round because it does actually have words on it. So that's the right way up, and I will put it on my multi-purpose mat. I'm just going to put this underneath because I'm just going to come up the side and some of it may come off onto the edge. Cool. Just join that up, coming up the side there. And then if we bring this piece in again here, and I've left a little bit on this so that we can overlap, but I'd really like it to be kind of even if I can. Well, I might come just a little bit further out actually, and I might use that zip strip after all, and just go over the top there, and that will just bring a little bit of the red out of his scarf and line up those, get rid of that half raw edge of stars and even that up nicely, so that looks good. And then Ranger will come in. Now I have printed his letters off on my Cricut, so if I take those off and just lay them on there. So I've just put them there. I haven't stuck them down yet because I'm not sure if that's where I'm going to settle with them, but probably something like that. And then I want to put the graduate out here. Now these stamps are made to fit the thin cuts. So I was thinking that that banner would look quite nice there. And the words that are here to go with it are to the graduate. Well, I don't want two, so I'll just take that off and put the graduate. Okay, so I've cut that out, and this is in Candy Apple, but I think we're going to use the light side of Candy Apple, and I think that will look good there with to the graduate. Now this is a new stamp, so I just need to season it, which I do with my forearm. Okay, now this is what we want. I'll just move the page and turn my pad over and bring this in here. Okay, so I've got my little banner there. So I'm just going to cut it off. I can always line it up when I want to use it together with the graduate, but today I don't. Do, and then we'll line it up. The graduate, that's what we want. So then when I put it back onto my sheet, I will just put them, they're just in two separate pieces now instead of one. Now I did try and mask it, but it didn't work very well. As you can imagine, I have lots of poor and doggy stamps because if one comes out, I kind of need it. So I'm just going to use this one and pop it up here. And I'll use sapphire again, but I'm going to do a secondary stamp so it's not quite as intense as the text. So it's a matter of one stamp on here. And then on there, that's what I want. One on there. Cool. Right, I'm going to stick these down now and have a better idea of where things are going to fit. So I'll just speed up through this bit. The assistance dogs do an amazing job in this country, helping lots of people with disabilities, children with autism and other things that don't quite fit into a label box, if you like. Some children or some people have disabilities that don't quite get labelled, and the dogs help them build their confidence, go outside, go to places, catch public transport, do all sorts of things that they would otherwise be unable to do. Ranger ended up with a young chap, just Tikawiti in the central North Island, and he goes to sheep shearing competitions and all sorts of things with his young charge. So it's meant the world to him and his family to have Ranger as part of their group. So I want to do a little story about this down here. So I'm just using some scrap paper to make a journaling box out of this, and I just want it to sit here and I'm going to pop a graduation hat on the top. And then I'll just go around the edges of that with my foam dome. Now I keep these on here on little Velcro dots. It seems to be the easiest way to keep a track of them. Sometimes I just scrape the paper along or the cardstock along the ink pad, and that does work sometimes, but if you want to have a little bit more control about the amount of ink that you get onto the piece of cardstock, then these work really well. Cool, so if I pop that there, and typically I've made it so that it fits the gaps there, and I'm just going to put this hat on the top. Stick that down there, and then I can write my story. Okay, so I've stuck that in there, and I will write on it soon. I just want to put another paw print up here just to balance this side of the paper, and again I'm going to do it as a secondary stamp. Just one there, and I might do one down the bottom here. I might do two down here as real ones, as primary stamps. Okay, so I'm going to use another one of these dies in white. Need to put the date on it. It needs a little bit of a lift from behind, so I've cut a piece of sapphire the same width as the photo, and I'm just going to put that in there. Now the date was the 31st of May 2018, and I've got these old stickers from Creative Memories that I've had forever, and I'm just going to use them to put the date on. Okay, so I've got some journaling to do, and then I'll come back with the embellishments. So just to add some embellishments, I've got some doggy ones, some little bone-shaped brads, and I thought one of them would look quite nice there, and maybe on either side of the date. But of course I've already stuck things down, so and I've got a little collar there, and another brad put there. See what they look like. Not too bad, just dot it around. Just pop the brad into the bottom of the journaling box, and the collar, stick the collar down. And because the brads made the date a little bit raised, I decided to put it onto foam tape and put it along the bottom there. So that's my page for the YouTube paper crafting group and for Schools Out. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please watch everybody else's, and if you've enjoyed this enough to subscribe, your subscription would be very much appreciated. I hope you enjoyed that. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching.